Good evening, everyone, and welcome to a broadcast from the National Capital Curling Center brought to you by the Potomac Curling Club. We are here in Laurel, Maryland, just outside of beautiful Washington, D.C., bringing you live our club championship for the President's Trophy. We will be featuring Team Weber against Team Clawson. For those of you who watched last week, this is a rematch. They were the 1-2 teams in our page playoff and managed to make their way here. Weber got here direct. Clawson had to win in the semifinal of the page playoff to make it here to the final gold medal game, but they are back, and we will see if we can make it interesting. We'll also try and give you live updates of our Senate Cup and our House Cup. In the Senate Cup, it is Ecto 1 versus, I've lost my little sheet who tells me that is, versus Byko, I believe. And in the House Cup, we have Humdrum versus Hamilton. We wish all of our teams good luck, and we will continue this broadcast live in just a few minutes. The teams are still getting ready as the final ice preparations are made.
Yeah, we've done it before.
Your dad asked Melvin last week, but no Melvin, he was like the only person that was going to accept.
Yeah, Melvin was done.
It was Melvin or nobody. Eric asked Melvin last week after our meeting. And Melvin's like, I played in the little court last night. And so that was it. They wanted Melvin or nobody. And he still like Melvin. Eric's running at this point. Hurry up, Eric! I've got Drambuie with your name on it.
Guys, I can finish up if you want to go be piped onto the ice. Versus like the Thanks for helping out. No. Hard to do. Well, I'm speaking on the street area for practice.
Hunter, just leave it. Come have a shot of not alcohol.
I'll finish with you.
Thank you.
So get average
it's fine.
Calvin, we're red.
Good evening once again, everybody. Welcome to the Potomac Curling Club. I am your operator, Mr. Michael Dobbs, and joining me for this broadcast of the President's Trophy match is my fellow operators and commentators.
I am Courtney Shaw.
And hello, I'm Nick Smith.
Welcome, everybody. Wow, we have 10 whole people. I guess one of them is our computer, but that's like 9 people that aren't in this building watching this game, and that's actually a bit more than I was expecting. So I guess to kick things off, we will introduce the teams and talk a little bit about how they got here. We have actually, as very frequently happens, a rematch of the 1-2 game from our page playoffs for Capital League here at the Potomac Curling Club. There are 2 teams on the ice right now that we're watching, and one of them is skipped by Hunter Clawson. Looks like they are kicking us off with, they're only playing with 3 players tonight, and so this is lead/second, Eric, it is Eric Clawson.
It's Eric Clawson.
Okay, I was right. I was like, wait, Eric doesn't sound right. No, that's totally right. And the second/vice is Eli Clawson. Oh, we have it up on the screen. And the skip is Hunter Clawson. For their opposition, we have a team skipped by Calvin Weber. Woohoo! Calvin Weber has some fans here watching the game. Kicking us off for that team is Brandon Kirali, or Kirai if you are Hungarian. Second and third for that team is like 40% of the Israeli national curling team, Gabe and Gilad Kempenich, and then Calvin I mentioned already. So these teams, in the end of our round robin standings for the season, were ranked first and second. First place team was the Clawson team, and second place team was Calvin's team. And so we use a page playoff system here in the Potomac Curling Club. And so they played in the 1-2 page playoff, and Team Weber was victorious in that game, which sent the Clawson family to the semifinals against the winner of the 3-4 game, which just so happened to be my little team old ladies. But when you're playing a team of teenagers versus a team of people who actually worked the whole day before playing 2 games in one day, big surprise, we were not victorious. And they're a pretty darn good team as well. So that's how we got here today. We have 2 very strong teams. I'm happy to see these guys in this final. I think maybe that shot didn't represent it, but we've got some good shot making to be expected from this game.
There's a little bit of a delay. So
Actually, we get to watch it live. And
Right.
you get to see the instant replay on our local laptop. So we are commentating live,
Yeah.
and then we do get a replay.
Okay, so it looks like I missed a couple of shots here, but we had a draw that came deep in the house and a freeze played and this and that and the other thing, and it looks like we're probably going to end up with a blank end here, though Calvin is calling the freeze again, so he's going for the, what I like to call the low-risk deuce opportunity, which is, you know, trying to make a rock a little harder to hit, and then seeing if you can get a miss out of your opponent. This freeze looks like it's coming in there nicely. It might just be a hair light.
But a good rock nonetheless.
Yeah. Oh. Well, this is exciting. We're getting some aggressive play in the very first end. So Hunter has decided with a rock in pretty good position that he doesn't care that they have a rock in the house, and he's just going to guard his shot stone because that red rock is acting as a guard to his shot as well. So he's asking Eli to put up a guard. This one looks like it actually may be a little heavy, and it's still hanging out there, so.
Right now, you're ready. Rock it on an angle. Hard. 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 Hard.
It's a pretty good rock. You cannot make that raise directly.
It's wrong, Lane. Yeah.
So it looks like Calvin's calling kind of a low weight hit, hoping to hit that rock that was just placed in the 12-foot and hang around in the house, put a little bit of added pressure on.
Hopefully removing both stones from the front of the backstone.
I don't think he's going for the double at this point.
No, just to push them out of the way.
Yeah, just get that top one out of the way and hang on in the house. It looks like he's going to do just that. That's a really great shot from Gabe Kempenich.
And it hangs around in the house, so
Yeah.
additional counter.
Just puts a lot of pressure on Hunter. If he wants to keep guarding this shot stone, the risk is much higher that if the guard's not placed in a good location, that if they make that run back, they could sit 3 at this point. So we'll see if Eli can get that guard in a little bit better position this time.
Whoa, let it go. Whoa. Right now. Now. Two. Whoa.
Still got some curling to do. It looks like it's going nicely.
Hard. Hard. Hard.
Pretty good guard.
It's actually a great stone from Eli.
2-3. How much CC of this one? Okay. How much? Well then. There's still a little difference. Hold tight. Quarter, maybe. Okay. Feel. 4, 5, 6.
Okay, so it looks like we've got a peel called from third player Gilad Kempenich.
Yep. I don't know. Whoa. Yes. Whatever you think. Try get this guy. Kick.
Should get a piece.
Nice shot.
And he avoided hitting his own.
Yeah, just barely. So
Looks like replacement of the guard again.
Eli, when you play with 3 players, you get the good or the bad thing of actually playing 3 rocks, which I actually really enjoy. I feel like by the 3rd one I get it right. Unfortunately for Eli, he's been asked to play the same shot 3 times in a row, but it's only because he's making it so nicely. This one needs to curl quite a bit. Looks like it's got a little bit more weight. Hunter's coming out to help his dad and get some good sweeping on there.
Does guard part of the stone.
Yep, and it guards the important. I mean, really, this is a straight run back, so if we're going to guard half of the stone, it's guarding it enough. They have to make a decision if they want to peel. They could potentially play like a low weight around that to try to get another rock in the house, put some more pressure on, but it's good enough at this point. See if Gilad can make this peel again.
Yep. Yes. I want to get rid of it.
Oh, looks like he's gonna make that shot nicely.
Pretty firm. You gotta go straight on it.
So I'll take a quick opportunity to tell everyone about the other two games we have on the ice tonight. This is the competitive league for the Potomac Curling Club, and we have 3 games that are played in the finals of that event, and this is the President's Trophy game, which is for the top finish in the league. And what happens at the end is the top 4 teams play for this position, and then we are divided into 2 groups, the House and the Senate. We're very clever here in the nation's capital, and there's also a game tonight that is to play for the championship of the House, which is the lesser competitive division of our league here. So that's the other game that's going on, and then the third game is a little bit of an interesting situation that's probably fairly unique to our club. The remaining 4 teams in the top division play for essentially the 5th place in the league, which has a trophy, and that is also going on sheet B. I got a dog in that fight because my husband is currently playing in that game. So we'll keep you updated on those scores as well. So back to the events on our
Feature sheet.
It looks like Hunter made the decision to stop guarding and to try to put another rock into the 4-foot, sort of increase pressure on Weber, but he didn't quite get enough finish on that rock, and
So there's a possibility of a double.
there is definitely a possibility of a double. A double to sit 3, and that
Shooter
would,
could spill out, but it could actually hang around too.
Oh no, I think, well, you gotta get pretty close to that red in the top of the house, but with some weight, I think this shot is, it goes easily.
Yes! Whoa!
Oh, it looks like it's hanging a little wide on him. I'm afraid this may jam. Oh, nope, he got it. Loses the shooter, though. But he does, I think he leaves himself sitting 1. It's hard to tell from
I believe
my
Red's
angle.
sitting 1 and 3, but it
1
could,
and 3, yep.
could-
So it certainly improved his position because it makes it a little bit easier for him to score as 1. But a nose hit on this. Oh, but it looks like they're really thinking about it. So it may not be as clear cut as we thought it was from our angle.
got a question about, are the overhead cameras working? They want to see, I guess.
Well, unfortunately, about a week or 2 ago, we had our house camera connector that connects the system to our computer here. It broke. So we have unfortunately not replaced it yet. We're trying to find a better solution for next year, and we didn't want to spend the money unless we really knew we had to. And I think we're going to definitely tweak the system for next year to bring you those overhead cameras yet again in the fall. But unfortunately for this match, no overhead cameras.
Yep. Yep. Whoa, whoa.
It's a good shot by Hunter. Clear out the red and set either 1 and 2 or 1 and 3, depending on which of those is actually closer.
And I'm back. I had a very important job to take care of, which is getting myself a beer. It's fuel for curling commentary. No one can be this witty without at least a little bit beer. So in my absence, it looks like Hunter made that hit beautifully. I guess the question is potentially whether or not he is sitting 1 and 2 or 1 and 3. I suspect if they were looking at it that closely, there might be a measure after this, but it's leaving Calvin Weber with a fairly routine hit for 1. It's not a great angle to play the double.
Might be a little wide.
Looks like it's hanging out there a little bit.
I think it should stay.
I think he's okay. Oh, yep, he's good. So it's 1 for sure for Team Weber. And we'll just sort of have to wait to see. Oh, they're already
They already got the measuring device
dropping
out.
brooms and carrying measuring device. So
Certainly saves time when someone just says, just go ahead and measure it.
yeah, it's nice when you play in competitive games because you just wave your hand and somebody brings it and does it for you. We do not have officiants. It's not a wedding at the Potomac Curling Club. Officials at the Potomac Curling Club Capital League Final. We are up to 16 viewers now.
We're getting there now.
We're going viral, yo. So I have some updates on the first end scores from the other sheets on the ice right now. In the, well, it's the Senate Trophy game, the 5th place game. There was a score. I never actually said what teams are playing, so if anybody's interested. On those sheets, the 2 teams that are playing for the Senate Trophy are team skipped by Dave Bykowski with Vice, Brian Dauernheim, second Nick Datlow, and lead Vincent Saratella. And the team they are playing is Team Ecto 1, commemorating the anniversary of a little movie called Ghostbusters. Skipped by Joe Rockenbach with Vice Melvin Shaw, second Brandon Morris, and lead Pete Morelowitz. The score in that game, there was a score of 2 in the first end by Team Bykowski, so it's 2-0.
After the measure, it was determined that Red only scored 1.
Yes, it was. Oh, no, and Brandon
Throws it through.
Brandon Corelli throws his first rock through the house. Not the best effort by Mr. Corelli. The house game that we have going on tonight is Team Humdrum, which is skipped by Ian Drummy, Vice Todd Humora, second Laura Barante, and standing in at lead is Ann Wiggins. And they're playing against a team that has joined our club from the Curling Club of Virginia, which is in Richmond, Virginia. And this is a team skipped by Travis Hamilton with Jonah, whose last name I can't remember. What's Jonah's last name?
I don't remember.
Jonah. He.
That's why I didn't write it down.
Michael Dobbs wrote down every. Oh, okay. I thought. Oh yeah, because you weren't getting him off of anything. I can't remember Jonah's last name either. A guy named Jonah. Second, we have Rich Gray standing in for Josh Leggett and lead Sam Sparks.
You want to throw control? What do you like? Control's fine.
So back to our, oh, and sorry, the score on that was a score of 2 for Team Humdrum. So on our feature sheet, it looks like after the first rock through the house by
Brandon.
Thank you, Nick. By Brandon Corelli, we had a corner guard that seems to have made its way into the 12-foot, and then instead of hitting that rock, it looks like they tried to draw around it.
I think the call was actually for another guard, but they end up a little bit deep.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
So now the hit's being played to try to split the house, and it looks like that's going to hang on nicely. This end is setting up very well for the Clawson team to potentially get a score of 2 out of this end.
Yeah, I get it.
Yep. Whoa, 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 whoa.
So, to all of the people who are out there watching tonight, we
This could be a nice double. No?
oh, just
missed it.
To all of you out there watching tonight, we do actually have the chat box up here. So, oh, Katie Kovac, my teammate, Katie Kovac, looks like she's joined us tonight.
That's good. Where?
And so I was going to say, if anybody wants to send a shout out to Nick and I here in Potomac Curling Club, we're up to 18 viewers now. I feel like somebody out there's got to have something to say. Please say it. It'll help to make this fun. Oh, Enrique, the father of 40% of the Israeli curling team,
right.
is tuning in from home. Apparently he didn't want to come here and watch. You're being shown up, Enrique. Kim Clawson, the mother of Eli and Hunter, and wife of Eric Clawson, is here in the building watching. I thought she was going to be my one viewer tonight, but she is actually one of our 18 viewers as well, because she is also has the footage on her phone. Looks like we had a hit and roll out, so this leaves the Clawson team the opportunity to split the house again. I've got my money on Eli making this shot because he just threw it. Or did he? Did Eric throw the last one? I can't keep up when we have
The 3-3-2 combination.
The three-person team.
This is the 4th stone, so it should be his first.
I still got my money on Eli. Oh no, this looks like it might be a little heavy. Is it
I think
good?
it'll stop
oh, no, it's good.
It'll stop.
Eli generally has pretty good draw weight.
Just get rid of this one. Yeah. Give me normal. Just get
So
rid
they left
of
them
this.
at the same height so that there is no double.
Watch the jam.
Yeah, there's no double. So the goal that the Weber team is going for here is just to hit this rock and stay for shot, but inch it closer over to the rock on the other side of the house so that they'll have an opportunity for a double. And looks like this one's running really straight. Our ice this season has been it runs very straight on the inside out. Well, I shouldn't say all season. Towards the end of the season.
It's been particularly straight from the end. Any shot that
Yeah.
curls from the center line to the edge.
So now this is like the hard part is where do you put another rock so that you don't leave a double? Try to preserve your 3. You can try to play the freeze, assuming that if they play the hit, you can try to keep one of them, or you can try to separate them. There's some options. But looks like Hunter's actually calling for about as far out as he can possibly get on the house. Try to keep a little separation. This is actually a particularly difficult spot to draw to with the way our ice has been playing recently.
You expect it to be straight, but will it actually remain?
It'll be pretty straight.
It is pretty straight.
Yeah. Looks like the weight's pretty close on this. It's heavier than Eric initially thought. Unfortunately, it kind of doesn't matter where you put the broom on that side. The rock's always going to end up in the same spot. So.
The stone actually fell backwards a little bit.
Yeah, it definitely did. That's been going on. So if I'm Calvin at this point, I go for the nose hit. I don't go for the freeze. I go for the nose hit here. You get rid of one of them, you get kind of a twofer out of it, and then you stay frozen because those rocks are perfectly frozen.
They are.
I don't know that I love the freeze. But you know what? Calvin plays really aggressive, and it pays off for him a lot. So looks like Gilad may have set this one out a little bit. Sweepers think it's light. Looks like it's got plenty from my seat, but I'm in the cheap seats.
I believe it's going to be a little heavy.
It is a little heavy. Katie Kovac once gave me a pack of gum that said, let's just save ourselves some trouble and assume I'm always right. So there we go. I was right. And for anybody who is watching curling instead of hockey, at least 17 of you out there, it looks like the Caps actually scored a goal. Hallelujah. So Hunter is asking for Eli to put another rock in similar spot, maybe a little bit lighter, kind of guarding the situation.
Perhaps guarding and counting.
Yeah, it's actually a really hard place to hit because of the way this line is working. So
But currently, it looks like it's going to be almost frozen.
So I would say that that's not ideal. I think with some weight, Calvin can get all three of these rocks out of the house. It's going to have to be a rocket, but I've seen Calvin throw some good weight hits before, so I think this one will be coming with a little bit of steam behind it.
Yes. And with the straight ice, it does assist just a little bit.
The only thing I worry about coming on that sort of inside-out rotation is with weight, they do tend to fall to the center. So I'm a little bit concerned that he may, well, it looks like they're actually moving. They've got plenty of ice.
He's got the intern.
Oh, he's
hit as
coming
well.
on the other handle.
And it's curling.
Which is actually the better handle for the hit, but oh, that's a great
shot.
outcome. There's clapping in the warm room. And actually, he didn't come with a lot of weight. You know, he played it to leave that one rock in the house, but he's sitting for shot. It's not an easy shot to remove it. I think Hunter's best option here is to peel that rock out, leave himself sitting two. He'll lose the shooter, but he leaves himself sitting two and in a good position to still take two in this game. It's a tough hit to make and keep the shooter. And I hate to think about getting kind of greedy and trying to stick that shooter and end up leaving them sitting one and losing everything. So hopefully,
Typically, if you have an opportunity for two, you should maintain the
take it.
course for doing that.
yeah. And Hunter, even though he's young and he's a junior skip, he tends to make fairly good decisions. And I like Eric, the fact that he plays with his dad, even though his brother throws the third rocks, his dad is holding the broom, and I like to think Eric is the voice of reason. Oh, he's coming at it with, this is maybe not the handle I would have picked for this. This is going to run really straight.
May have fallen just a little bit as well.
See, that's exactly what my concern was. That inside out line is really almost, you have to take ice on the other side of the rock, it seems.
Well, when it runs that straight, you don't have as much room for error.
But you're just not going to get any curl out of it. And even with that
Exactly.
nice down weight that he was playing, it was just never going to curl past that. Hey, looks like we have TJ Kasser. Isn't hockey over? Heck no. The hockey that matters is just getting started. And looks like John Lawrence is joining us tonight. I tried to... Doesn't matter if it's just an ambient mic. It sure picks up Gilad Kempenich. It was a nice shot by Calvin to sit three. Put a little pressure on Hunter. He's got to draw the 4 foot.
full 8 foot.
Well, he doesn't have to draw the 4 foot, but that's what he wants to do.
Absolutely.
Just
As
to
a
tell
skip, you always want to
himself,
just
yeah. He
stick it in
was
the 4 foot.
gesturing towards the 4 foot. He put it in the 4 foot, and Eli will make sure it gets there. From sheet B, or sorry, sheet C, I have a very angry Vincent Saratella, who saw the score of the Capitals game.
From his gesturing, we must assume the Caps must have given up their brief lead.
Yeah, Tommy, you hit the nail on the head. This was quite a turnaround in this end. From a possible 3 to a draw for 1. It's just, I would say, kind of a poor choice of turn to play ahead on. I just don't know that it was ever going to get there on that line. And that shot was forced by a really great shot by Calvin Weber. So,
Nonetheless, it's a tie game, and Weber has hammer. In the third.
indeed, close game. That's how we like it.
Good center.
So kicking us off, we'll see if Eric can, I think the call was a guard. I kind of spaced out for a second, so I missed it. But I'm assuming it was a guard.
I believe you're correct.
I'd call for a guard if I was skipping this game.
Mine's great right here. Silver going off.
Top 4? Yeah. Top 4 only. Line's okay. I'd like to let it move up.
A very nice guard put in play by Eric Clawson.
Let's go. Yeah. Yep, line. Yeah. Hard line. Great shot.
Come around call.
Line.
For Brandon.
Hard.
Looks like it's going to wreck the guard.
Hard. Gotta move. Yeah, line. Yes, line. Hard.
It's not an ideal outcome. Obviously.
5-6.
Having additional center guards is usually not a optimal
Yeah.
plan or an outcome if you have hammer.
Yeah, cluttering up the center when you have the hammer is certainly not the best way to play
Line's good.
if you want to score.
On the line now. Whoa. Got it, girl.
Hold tight.
Looks like this one has a bit more weight on it from Eric, but it also has a bit more line, so not sure if it's going to quite tuck in there as much as they would hope.
Oh.
Looks like it's a bit heavy, but they get it about half tucked in the back of the house.
Top 4. Quick, right? Okay. No guards.
Calvin reminding Brandon that a guard is not optimal, so let's try to put this one in the house.
Where are we? Whoa. Plenty of room. Yes, line. Whoa.
Update on sheet D. It appears that Humdrum is up 2-1 over Hamilton.
I think the score on sheet C was only a score of 1 by Team Ecto 1, so I think it's actually 2-1 against Bykowski in that game.
I'll give you much less ice. I think.
5-6.
So that draw was made successfully, but it is behind the T line, so this gives Eric Clawson an opportunity to draw another one behind this guard. Potentially freeze to that, or even just sit in the top 4 in shot position behind 2 guards. So
Hard.
Makes it rather difficult for
the line is
Red
looking
score.
so nice on this. Oh, but it's a bit heavy.
it is.
And it missed the backing. Oh no.
That's a shot.
There's a nice try on that one from Eric, but this gives Weber's team an opportunity to loop another one and put it in the top 4, and hopefully prevent Clawson from getting in there.
That's super hot. Oh! Oh, line. Oh! Yeah, hard, guys. 9.
So on sheet C, it appears the score is 1 for Ecto and 2 for Bico.
Yeah, as expected. Oh, and that one was very heavy from Gabe Kapenich. Actually tapped
own
their
stone.
rock back even further.
Does get it behind their own guard for cover. However,
Yeah, that was not a good effort.
However,
unfortunately.
since it's behind the T line, if Eli were to loop one in there, it's going to be really hard to get it out of there.
Let's see if the young Clawson can get one in there.
Yep.
I like his chances.
I do as well.
Uh-oh, this one looks heavy too. Oh, or maybe not.
Looks a
Oh
little
no,
narrow.
it looks like he was a bit narrow. Eric's going hard for line. I think he's by.
They're around it.
He's by.
They are around it.
So just for weight at this point.
It might be a little heavy.
Oh no. Oh no.
Well, they caught just enough to sit shot.
They do sit shot. We're playing the back of the house game.
I believe we got a little bit of a bowl effect on Sheet B here.
Well, at least on that one side. There tends to be the one side that hooks like crazy and the side that runs really straight. But it's also, you know, in the third end, at least I found with our ice here at the club, we kind of dust the frost off in the first 2 ends, and then the third end it's up to speed and everybody's heavy because we finally got the ice up to speed, but we thought it was slow still. So it's pretty common that you see this kind of back of the house. And also when you have backing, sometimes you kind of play to the backing.
Hard! Hurry! Gotta go! Hard, hard, hard! Hard, 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 hard! All the way, all the way, all the way!
Oh,
This one's a little light.
this one's a bit light and rub the guard. The weight would have probably been pretty close had it not gotten that rub, but
I couldn't see the rub. It did rub?
it rubbed the guard, yeah.
The same way, just like out here on the side.
Yeah.
Like edge of the 12. Yeah.
That's why it's so far out there.
What?
That's why it's so far out there.
Yeah.
Short's okay, too.
So I didn't actually see what the call is, but I suspect the call is to try to block up this port.
Probably a guard.
Hard line.
No line.
Or in the right
Looks
side of the
like
stone.
Eli was a touch narrow again, so we're trying to.
But really, if you
pull it
cover
out
any
a
part of
little
that
bit,
stone, it should work out well.
Yeah, I like this call. You know, it's forcing them out to a side of the sheet that we haven't played on at all.
At this point, Calvin may choose to do a little bit of peeling, but let's see what he does.
And in case anybody was wondering, on sheet A, we have a very exciting practice session going on with Potomac curlers Kendall Beam and Adam Capp. Adam is preparing for his last 5 and under bond spiel ever in Seattle this weekend, and Kendall is just practicing for,
If you're wide, we just do this.
you know, potentially whatever she has coming up. Which could be the HP Combine. I don't know if she's doing that. She's pretty awesome though, so she might be. Katie was wondering for waiting for practice commentary.
I don't mind that. If you want hack, I'm okay with that. Okay, let's do that.
Kendall is a member of my team Girl Power. We finished in 3rd place in Capital League this season. Not making it quite to the big show, but having a good time and, as I like to say, looking good doing it.
Yep.
Looks like that run back was not successful. It did remove one yellow rock. It kind of shuffled things around a little bit, but yellow is still shot. So leaves Hunter with the question, do you play that same guard again, or do you try to get another one in there? And I love trying to get one into the forefoot, but at this point they've got a lot of guards in play. There's not a really good path. The other side of this sheet is going to run really straight compared to this hooky side. So at this point, you know, guarding is a pretty good option.
Yes, line. Good tight, yes. Mark. Line's good. Line's good now.
Yes.
Whoa. Go, girl.
Mark.
Hard. Hard.
So another guard put up and in quite a nice position.
It successfully guards the promote for the redstone.
It does, and being half tucked behind the red guard is kind of a nice position because they can't play that run that they were trying last. So.
Not a whole lot of good can happen. Get there.
Katie commented that Adam's curling pants are hard to miss, and that is a very true statement.
T-line. Yeah. Okay. Give it a shot.
I think Adam is done with his practice for the evening. He is enjoying a beer and watching all of the curling we have to offer.
That was hot.
So it looks like Weber is trying to attack this from the other side of the sheet, which is, I think, a good decision at this point. It's kind of an all or nothing shot at this time. Oh, this looks pretty good.
Catch a piece of that.
Still a bit heavy, but he at least gets in there for shot. It's really hard, you know, that moment when you need to figure out whether you're going to bail on trying to peel your way into having an easier shot or just to try the tough shot. Wow, it looks like we have some other ambassador from the Israel curling team tuning in on to our little broadcast and chiming in the chat box.
It's okay.
And speaking to Enrique in Spanish. Which I don't know, I guess, could hola also be hello in Portuguese?
I believe it most likely is. I do know it means hello in Spanish.
Well, it means hello in Spanish, but I'm not familiar with Portuguese.
Just wait.
For those who are interested out there, the Campeches have citizenships in many countries. They are, I guess they probably speak Spanish too because I believe Gabe and Gilad's mother is Mexican. Their father is Brazilian, and they were born in Israel and live in the United States. So they've got all of the citizenships.
So that stone came a little bit short. Didn't quite get to the forefoot.
Yes, it did. Now Calvin is calling for a tap back on a stone that seems to be mostly buried, but I think he's thinking that with this ridiculous hook effect that you get on this
It's possible.
little bit slopey side of the sheet, that maybe he can still get in there and tap it. I'm not a big fan of throwing up another guard to protect one when you have the hammer, but I might also consider guarding the promote on
The left side.
left side, the intern side of the sheet for us right-handed people. They're talking about it. This is a team effort being is playing out on the sheet here.
This decision is not exactly easy. The promote with the red is probably slightly there. However,
TJ was asking why they're not both wearing their Team Israel jerseys, or he said his wife was asking. So for anybody else who's out there who might wonder why a member of the Team Israel curling team is wearing a Swedish curling jersey, it is a tradition at the European Championships and many curling championships that you swap jerseys with other teams at the event. And even though Team Israel was in the B bracket and didn't play Team Sweden, they were in the A bracket. It was a big year because Team Israel was new to the European Championships, and so I suspect everybody was really excited to get one of Gilad's jerseys. And so Gilad came home with quite a complement of other teams' jerseys, including the one he's wearing tonight, which is from a curler named Christian Lundstrom of the Team Sweden. He's a very good curler. So they actually just won the men's world championships. Not sure if you watched that, Nick.
I was trying to, but I could not find. It's going to be a little deep.
Enrique is saying he thinks they wanted to wear a world champion jersey tonight, and I'd say that's a good idea. You just channel that energy. So I totally missed what happened, Nick. You have to keep me up to date.
Well, basically, they went for the tap or the draw behind. I could not quite tell exactly for sure.
And nothing worked.
And it was a little bit wide and a little bit heavy.
Ah.
So.
Sorry, I was mesmerized watching Kendall delivering rocks with no broom. And throwing them all into the forefoot. So again, quite a lot of discussion. It's a tough situation. Oh, Eli is going down to chime in.
While these teams discuss the shot, we do have a quick score update. Over on sheet D in our House Cup game, Team Humdrum took 2 with a hammer in the third end. They currently lead over Team Hamilton with a score of 4-1 after 3.
Thanks, Michael.
So it appears they're going for the tap up of the Yellowstone.
Wow, it looks like Team Weber has support from Calvin's previous home in the state of Wisconsin. Welcome to the web stream, Wisconsinites. I guess there's more people from Wisconsin in the building who are also cheering.
Yeah, by 6.
Looks like, again, the tap was the call, I guess. But not made successfully. It looks like Red is still sitting 1, and Calvin's going to have a draw to the forefoot for 2. Or is he considering the tap again? Looks like.
I think just the draw from the left side.
Thinking about it, but I think the draw's a good decision.
2/3 of the rock in the forefoot should get them 2.
I like his chances on this draw. Calvin, there's a lot of things you can say about Calvin Weber, but he generally has good draw weight. I don't know many of the other things. I know he works for Nielsen, the people that do all the ratings.
Don't think this stone's going to come back to the 4 foot.
It looks like he got a little wide on that one, and he discovered the tragic flat spot that exists
think he just
when you get outside of the 4 foot.
Might have been just a little too much broom given for that.
Did he take more broom?
Yeah.
It looked like he hit the broom. Yeah, there's like a flat spot. Like if you're inside it tends to curl. If you're outside it tends to kind of level
Yeah.
up. Opportunity missed there. He doesn't look happy with that. I'm sure he's not. He's a good competitor, and he knows that was his opportunity to kind of pull ahead in this game, and taking one was not optimal. He really let Hunter off the hook.
We do have another quick score update here on Sheet C in our Senate Cup game. Ecto won, skipped by Mr. Rockenbach. Stole one in the third end. They are currently tied, a score of 2-2.
Oh, sorry. Did I let my biases get in there?
We already knew that.
Calvin is awesome. I get from somebody from Wisconsin, and there's some support here in the war room for that sentiment.
Top 8. That's pretty good.
Control.
Looks like the call is to draw around the center guard, but this is coming with some speed, and I'm wondering if this is going to hang on. It's definitely back of the house and probably through. Calvin gives it a little courtesy sweep and puts the broom out for the draw around.
I like to draw two anyway. We tap to the peg. Whoa! I like down lead only. Yep.
This is coming in nicely. It's a really nice draw from Brandon Corelli.
Yes!
Nice T-line weight.
Yeah, line. I didn't rate that.
You get to nose this.
There's so much swing on this side of the sheet, though. I suspect that you could probably hit it just about anywhere on the rock you wanted to, but a little deep to try to protect that rock. But draws the play to the center of the house, which is never a bad thing when you don't have hammer.
Hard. Hard.
It looks like Eric may have gotten this one going a little bit, and it is all over this guard. That is tragically still a free guard violation for Mr. Clawson there. So that guard will go back into place and really give quite a position to Calvin to get another one in the house. And I lost everything. Did we come unplugged?
Oh, okay.
You don't have, it's the whole thing. And we're back. Thank you, Michael Dobbs. Sorry, we briefly lost our microphones there.
But thanks to Michael Dobbs' technical skills, we're back on.
Thanks to Michael Dobbs' foot, we lost our microphones, and thanks to his technical savvy, we are back. And I'm not sure if the call was the draw or just to put another guard out there, but we got another guard out there, so it's on. Team Weber is going to go hard for the steal.
2 guards and 1 on the button.
So this one can remove the guard if it so happens to rack again, which it looks like it's going to. This is very light. I guess the call was the freeze potentially.
Most likely it was a freeze.
Well, this is going to put them in a really tough position because, like, there is a lot of guards up front.
Fortunately, the first guard, the 1 guard, was now blocking the draw from the other side, even though at the end of the game, at the end of the end,
What?
the 1 guard is now sort of blocking the draw to the four. To the
Oh,
foot.
definitely.
So,
Yep. There you go. Yeah, line. Shot. Hard line. Hard line.
Weber's trying to loop another one behind this guard, but it's curling hard, and it's going to be close to get by. Up, and they do not get by. But they get it into the house, so Team Weber sitting 2 without the hammer. Not a bad position to be. Center guard in play. All sorts of guards in play.
No. Heat off. Off, guys. We don't know. You go now.
it's going for the lightweight hit here.
Porque soy hispano.
Yes. Yes. Hard. 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 Hard.
Although it did wreck the guard, but it did remove the top of the stone.
Certainly not the hit they were planning on, but it works.
It's not a terrible result at all. So Calvin's calling to remove the yellow stone and flop over to protect the red stone on the button.
Yep. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Yep. 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 Whoa, whoa, whoa. Yep. Yep, yep, yep. Yeah, yeah. Hard Brandon. Whoa, 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 whoa. Beauty.
Very nice shot.
Basically perfect. I mean, it really doesn't matter where that rock is. If it's completely covering
Normal.
down to half covering, it's all good right there. Sitting 2 and forcing to throw the double. Which, since they're Clawsons, they can make it.
Just normal.
Look back. Just back 4, like just like whoa. You're rolling. Whoa. Off still. Yes. Hard.
What do you think, Nick? You like that shot?
It's a good shot.
Same thing.
I definitely think he wanted to roll a little bit further, but I can see almost a hesitation of, do I go for the hit and roll, or do I stay the course and try for that double?
It seemed like the decision was made a little later in the shot than he would hope to do, but he's going for the double most of the way and realized it was not going to happen.
All the way.
But a good result nonetheless.
Right to it. All the way.
Certainly acceptable.
Yep. Hard. Hard. 3. Hard. Come on. Hard, hard, hard. Yeah, yeah.
Oh, this is curling. Is it gonna? Oh, and the jam.
Moved the yellow stone, but unfortunately pushed their own stone off
And
the
it
button.
does not look like that was in the house.
I
so-
believe it is sitting outside.
They're sitting 1. I like this draw.
Yes, yes, yes.
Now, some people might hit that rock in the back of the house, but Hunter very wisely identifying that there's a lot of guards in play. He's got a chance to sink one in here behind staggered corner guards or double corner guards. It's a good opportunity to try to generate your dues. AJ says, welcome back from Colorado, Michael Dobbs.
That is right. I just got back from Colorado visiting my new 1-month-old niece. She is adorable.
We'll take your word for it.
Oh, trust me. You don't take my word for it. Take Facebook's word for it. There are so many pictures.
I'm starting to think there's like two classes of people on Facebook. There's people who post pictures of their pets all the time, and that's me. And people who post pictures of their kids all the time. It's sort of like, I guess you post what you get, right?
I think those two groups of people might be related.
No. Do not associate me with people who post pictures of children on Facebook. Enrique's asking where Caleb is, and I don't actually know the answer to that question. I knew that they knew last. Oh, wait. Mom is going to. I forgot. Somebody who knows is here, and I will have an answer. Oh, my gosh. What does he play? Caleb is on a band field trip to Florida. Caleb plays the drums.
Oh, those are the best field trips ever.
Band trip?
Yes! Band trips are awesome.
I will also take your word for that.
There may have been a movie or two made about such situations.
Maybe. So, Calvin, it looks like Calvin's trying to play the downweight hit on this yellow rock in the back of the house. Looks like he's going to get a piece of it. I think he'll probably hang around, get a little bit of a roll.
Leaves the hit and roll opportunity.
The Calvin fan club has identified that that was a good shot. They're on board. I don't actually know that any of these folks are curlers. Oh, there's one curler raising her hand. Oh, you curled in gym class. Are you guys actually from Wisconsin? You're from Minnesota.
I think the answer is self-evident if they said they played.
Yeah, if you play in gym
curling
class, I
in
have
high
to assume
school.
you're from somewhere in the Midwest. but that's. It looks like there's some curling knowledge to be had in the Calvin fan club. So I think Hunter is just looking for a bit of a hit and roll here.
From the ice, given it appeared to be the double roll behind the two double corners.
This is running incredibly straight.
Close.
Did not quite get the roll that he was looking for. He's going to leave Calvin.
Yeah. Like all of it? Plus some? 95% from no, just about like this much more.
Gabe Kamenich is indicating that he can see most of the rack. It's going to be tough to tuck behind that guard. But even if he tucks a piece, it's going to really put some pressure on Hunter to make a good shot for one here. So the question mark is what is this line going to do when he tries to throw a hit on it? Which is the question I ask myself pretty much every time I throw anything on the center line at our club. What is it going to do?
Sounds about right.
The easiest way to figure it out is to get a pair of dice and see what it goes.
They swept it early, and it's really hanging out there.
That's about the straightest stone I've seen.
That's about what I expect.
Oh, no.
Oh.
That was a sweeping error by Vice Skip Gillette Kamenich, which is an easy trap to fall into because
Normally at our club, it does curl on the center line, but
in any place in the world, you would expect some curl if somebody's tight. But on the center line, you put a brush down to it. Sometimes it pulls them off the center line, and they are never to come back. So now Hunter has an opportunity to try to succeed where Calvin did not succeed last end, which is to get a second point when you're sitting 1. And so he has a draw. He needs to touch 8 foot, and he's seen this line. They've played this line. I like his chances. Though this does look like it's coming with quite a bit of speed.
Need to catch a piece of their own stone, I think.
Oh no, they missed the rub. Is it going to go too far?
It may just do so.
Just too far.
And I believe that red is closer, but they may measure.
It's 1 yellow.
1 yellow.
This is this game of opportunities lost by both teams. Keeping it very tight. 2-2 after 4 ends.
I got a hint from someone that we should announce the score from the other 2 games. So on sheet
I'll
C,
let you do that.
we have, it appears to be Byko is up over Ecto 4-2. And on sheet D,
They didn't post it yet.
have not posted their score just yet.
Yes, line. Move it early. I don't want to hit. Where is it? Don't kill it.
All right, looks like this is the come around for red. Looks like a fairly decent shot. A little bit deep. Just in the backside of the forefoot.
You hate to see a rock go deep this early in the end, though.
It does cut down your scoring ability if you have hammer.
Yes, line hard.
Call here is for Eric to throw a freeze on top of that rock.
Hard. Line's good. Yeah. Weight's good. Line's good with top 4.
Looks like a pretty good stone. Not frozen, but it's in a fairly good
nice
position.
stone by Eric Clawson. Behind that guard.
Hidden behind the guard, on the tee line, about a stone and a half away.
It's hard to guard.
Still looking for a score on sheet D. Don't see it posted just yet.
I like it.
Feature sheet, there might be a call to pick out that yellow stone, but I believe the stone is hanging a little bit wide. Does get a piece of it, however. It's a pretty good shot.
It is. It does.
Considering how much it was buried, getting a piece of it was a good result.
But there's definitely a pocket behind that guard for Eric to freeze down to.
Same exact spot.
And that is the call.
Little more. Yeah, whoa, line's fine. Line's fine.
Eli does not look interested in sweeping this.
Does look a slight bit heavy.
The good news all sorts of backing if he can just get the line. Oh, he's going to try to play the low weight double, or at least just tap it. Hey, well that works. He's sitting 2 now. It's a good audible called by Hunter. Good communication from Eli to let him know how heavy it was.
Having your front end communicate the weight of the stone is usually key to making
It's
a better
always a
result.
positive.
Playing well is definitely key to winning the game.
Well, I think even if you don't throw exactly the right shot, it's good for the skip to know because there's always a plan B.
Oh, even if the skip doesn't tell you, there's always a plan B.
Yeah. The hardest part is when they don't tell you when the weight's not good, and
It's a good hit and stick.
it's a bit of a precarious situation now. Red is sitting first shot, second shot to yellow, but Red's got those silly 2 rocks in the back of the house that sometimes those come back to count, and I guess we'll just sort of see how this all plays out. It's really important here that Eli hangs around with this rock, whatever the shot call is. It looks like the shot call is just the freeze,
Freeze, yes.
which is a pretty wise decision because it's got some room for error. And it's an easy way to kind of outcount all of those red stones in the house.
Line's good, right here.
6 is fine.
Hard line.
5-6. 5-6.
Hard.
5-6.
Off.
Good.
Off.
Good swing. Good job.
All right, that's okay. Yep.
Wow.
Normal.
So the freeze comes up light and leaves a center guard.
Up 8 foot.
It's not the optimal result, but it actually does accomplish something.
It does. And forces Calvin to play another one to the center line here. Try to get one in position. Prevent Clawson team from having a shot at making this freeze.
Five is good. 5's good. Make sure we're here. Yep. Okay. Oh, then. Close. Yep. 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 Come on. Come on. Trust me. Hard. Oh. We hit that. Yep.
It looks like this rock from Gabe comes up a bit shy of what oh, we have some rock repositioning. Comes up a bit shy from what Calvin was asking for. He was asking for top 8, but comes to the top 12. It's not a bad rock, but it almost acts like another center guard. And I think if you're going to play that, you need to try to play for second shot. Because now this offers Eli the opportunity to loop another one around.
If he comes in
could even
between.
freeze for a shot stone behind a couple guards and on the button. It'd be really tough for Calvin to move. This one is curling. Are they
curling.
by? Oh, they are
Not
not
quite.
by. Did leave a hole to get into that 4 foot. It's not very big, but I'm not sure what else you do. I guess you could hit the yellow. It looks like that's what he's calling. It's not a bad call.
The hit and flop in a little bit's okay.
It's a really great call, but
Just control.
because if he leaves his shooter about where his broom is, then that draw will be blocked as well.
Close. Yep. Yep. Free.
Sweeper's going hard on this one. It is curling hard.
They're able to hold it, however.
They were. Nice shot.
It's a very good shot.
Definitely called shot by Calvin. Good job, Gilad.
Nose.
So now this is forcing Hunter, even though these rocks are far from counting, but he's got to play on them to open up the forefoot.
One more. Got nose to the important part.
I mean, that's. They're calling a nose hit.
Yep. Nose hit should get,
Maybe
well,
might be a
nose
double.
hit won't get those two out front. Nose hit, it looks like he's looking to pick off the one in the back four as well. Leave himself sitting shot. If he's a bit wide, he should clear both of the rocks in the front.
Oh, yes. Yes.
These precision hits are shots that are really hard to make when you only have one. Oh, just missed it.
They are still sitting second shot.
They are with that jam. Those precision hits are really hard to make when you only have one sweeper. And also with as tricky as our ice has been, they're tough shot calls.
You know, I'm not really sure I like that shot because it means Weber was sitting first, third, fourth, and fifth shot. And your one lonely yellow rock was just sitting out there on its own, and Calvin's immediately going for it to sit potentially 5.
Well, with the way it's guarded, however, you can't get it out
Curling
directly.
like crazy
So
here. I think Hunter was kind of banking on that.
All right.
I think so as well. But they just opened it up.
Yeah, now,
Now you need to
but
check that one little
now
rock.
that draw is absolutely open on that side that curls like the Dickens. And they can easily get to a shot stone position.
But you do have to get it in there.
You need this rock
This
to
is
do something for you.
You do. Because, yeah, it does appear that
as long as it's
their
half buried.
second shot, but Calvin's got 4 rocks out of the top 5 counters. So you do not want to give him an opportunity to sit 5. Eli's ready. Broom down, game face on. He's ready to sweep this rock and put it on the button.
He does look serious.
He's so serious. You should see him when he slides out of the hack and then kicks off the wall and just starts spinning really, really fast. It's the most serious look. I like Eli. I like the Clawsons. They're a nice family, and I've been seeing Eli curl since he was just a little kid, and
Eli's
Is
not
it-
sweeping.
oh, this is heavy, I think.
Yikes.
Oh gosh.
Might wind up tick and roll off your own.
No.
Nope.
And it does slow down to be 4th shot.
Yeah.
It helps.
Well, it now counts 2 rocks,
Exactly.
so it
It
absolutely
helps.
helps.
Not what you were looking for, but it does
Oh,
help.
Team Wisconsin's pizza just arrived, so this place just got real. I like the way Calvin's thinking here. It's kind of a sucker shot to play the hit on the yellow rock. It seems like the good thing to do because you play that shot and you're sitting 3, but you also play that shot and you're sitting 3 in the back of the house. And while Hunter may not have made that freeze with his first rock, he was 4 feet heavy, and he is not going to miss it twice.
Correct.
So right now, Calvin's priority is to get to a score of 2 in this end will be a real victory for him, even though there are so many rocks in play.
Getting to the 4-foot in the front first will be key to doing this.
Absolutely.
Just touch more. Just touch more. All you guys. All you guys.
We still don't have a score posted for Sheet D yet. That will block the button draw.
now counts that yellow in the back of the house. So that was kind of a poor effort on Calvin's part. Sorry, called him out a little bit there. Oh, Team Weber fan club does not like my commentary. But
Identical control.
I think if you ask Calvin, he would probably say the same thing.
yeah, I was asked how many people are on this Team Wisconsin in the warm room, and it looks like 2, 6, 9. There's a lot of people.
I believe 9 is
Oh, 10. There's a 10th. There was another one behind. Looks like there's 10 of them.
No roll.
Well, I will say the one outcome of this rock was that it absolutely is making Hunter have to play a very difficult shot to figure out what he's going to do. It's tough to make it around that yellow guard on the intern side, which would be the left side of the sheet. So looks like he's making a play on the right side of the sheet, the outturn side. I'm not sure if the call is to come in. I think it would be a wise call to come in.
That would be the wiser call. If you get it partially guarded by Calvin's last stone, there would be no double. So.
Absolutely, absolutely. But you have to either sit to or guard the heck out of your rock because
Bring it for weight. Just weight.
this could be the game if he leaves Calvin an open hit to get rid of this
For
rock.
weight. Need it for weight.
Stone is looking good.
Bring it now. Bring it.
Does look good. Hunter's helping. Oh no.
That
Yikes.
ended up a little bit short.
And we will call this yet another poor effort. I think we got a little bit outside of the line, and
However, it does guard the back stone fairly reasonably.
yeah,
It's not completely guarded.
It's not completely guarded, and it sets up a bit of a jam. But I think even if he hits what he can see with a decent amount of weight, he should be able to get at least 3 out of the mess. Maybe 4.
I believe that it's so guarded that getting it to sit for 3 is going to be hard.
Well, no, I'm not talking about the shooter. If he can get it to hit the side of the yellow he just threw, it'll spill into the 12-foot a bit. Or, sorry, into the yellow that's in the back of the house.
While we have a pause here, we do have a score update over on sheet D. They did post their 4th end score early. They hid it from us by putting it under the blank column. So in the 4th end, it was a blank, and in the 5th end, Hamilton took one with a hammer. They still trail against Humdrum with a score of 2-4. And over on sheet C in our Senate Cup match, looks like Baiko took 2 in the 4th, but Ecto took 1 in the 5th. Ecto currently trails with a score of 3-4.
So this call looks like a slight tap back of the second yellow stone. Move it 4 or 5 inches, you're sitting 3.
If he touches it, he's got a good chance of taking 2.
It's got to be half weight, okay?
And Calvin has indicated it's going to be a hack weight hit.
Whoa, whoa. Whoa, whoa. Okay. No. Oh,
The question mark when you get out to this part of the sheet is, there's definitely a slope, but at some point it flattens off. So
That's
the
correct.
question
Is he on that part or not?
yes, has he made it out there?
From my experience, the edge of the 8-foot, it will curl.
It's
What,
different. It's
4
different
inches
on
further out?
every sheet. Oh, this is curling like.
And I think they might be able to hold it.
Well, they got it.
They held it.
got it. Nice shot. And that looks like a score of 3 from
3,
Nice.
the top counter.
It's real close.
Definitely 2, maybe 3.
I'm going to agree with you, 3.
It's Calvin is indicating it's 3, and he looks very excited.
In a
That
game
is
when
a-
you're trading ones, a 3 is a big end.
Really nice shot.
That was the shot of the game thus far.
It looks like they're measuring.
7.5.
Or not. It does look like a score of 3 here in the 5th end. Weber currently leads Clawson with a score of 5-2.
Yep, hard. Yep, hard. I didn't realize how early. Hard.
Weber asks for a stone in the top of the forefoot.
One person. Yeah. Good job. Up 4. Yep.
Pretty good job by Brandon. Call for a corner guard.
Yes, line.
Nice, good.
Hard, guys.
Which is the correct call in order to ensure yourself a score of more than 1. The ice may be slowing down a bit,
Yeah. Seemed to work last time.
because that's quite a high corner guard.
Right there. A bit. 7.
It's so high our camera can't see it.
Lots of room. 6 is good. Yeah, top 4. Whoa, you got it.
Stone is also supposed to be in the top forefoot, though it may go just a hair deeper.
Good weight call. Yep. Good this way.
Yep.
Top row.
Wait, guys, hard.
Those aren't fantastic lead rocks by my good friend Brandon Corelli, but it's very easy to think, I don't want to leave a guard, and then you put him in the back of the house.
Hard.
So they're trying to draw around this corner guard,
It's fairly tight to it,
and he's trying to just go top 12.
but it looks like a
It
pretty
looks
good
like
shot.
a really great shot from Eric.
Completely buried and at the right height.
Yep. It's a pretty long guard, so it had to be pretty high. But perfect weight thrown by Eric and buried nicely behind the guard.
Forward weight. Yeah.
So Calvin's going for a down weight hit.
Whoa. Yep. Great. Whoa.
This looks nice.
Yes!
Wow, very good shot.
This is a really great down weight
Got
shot.
around that guard. Now sitting 1, 2, 3.
There's a lot of rocks in play, though. Even though they only have one kind of crummy guard, there's some rocks to work with here.
You can do hit and rolls. You can also do freezes.
Plenty ice.
Oh. Calvin was just asking me how many people were watching this stream, and he was hoping that we had hit like 100 viewers. Unfortunately, we're only at 24, and 2 of them are in this room. So I don't think we quite have the viewership that Calvin was hoping for, but I am sure he very much appreciates the support of everybody out there who's watching.
Play control.
I can only assume that Art Weber is maybe related to Calvin somehow. He does indicate that you've got to love the Packer hat, and I would say
Pretty high possibility.
For one time, in a while. There is maybe somebody who would agree with that statement besides you in this room. But on a normal day, you're not going to get many people in the Potomac Curling Club who agree with that.
All right, come on. Whoa, 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 whoa.
It's a nice hit.
It was a
And the
nice hit and roll.
shooter stays around.
Maybe rolled a hair too far. But with the way our ice has been swinging, that's a really great shot.
Yes.
These precision hits have just been really hard to make.
Back 8.
Yes, the brothers on the other team are actually quite good curlers. Hunter Clawson, to speak his praises a little bit, he played at Junior Nationals this year and he did very well. He was probably like 4 shots away from making the playoffs in the week. He had a very good showing. He's a really strong young curler, and we feel very fortunate to have them at the club because they're all really nice guys and great curlers. Eli does not play with his brother. Caleb, the other brother who's not here, plays with Hunter. Eli he actually skips his own team and at only 14 years of age, gave everybody quite a run for their money at Playdown. So I think this is a great curling family with a lot of very strong future in this sport.
Pretty good, actually. Whoa, 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 whoa.
Really nice shot by Gilad Kempenich to remove the Clawson rock. But we got a lot of rocks in play here, a lot of things that can be moved around to kind of help to generate some offense for the Clawson team.
Especially considering that 2 of them behind the tee line.
Indeed.
You can use those to your advantage.
And those 2 that are lined up definitely could also be used. I kind of like the nose hit on those 2 rocks that are pretty close together.
Take one out,
Yeah.
freeze the other one to
If
it.
you play the freeze, you'll be 3rd shot, and then you've got to actually make some rocks move to try to bring your rock in play. This way, there's a good chance to be 2nd shot.
And notably, he's coming from the other handle this time, which is a good move
Not
on his
the
part.
inside.
Yes. Whoa. Yes. Hard. Hard. Hard.
This rock is looking pretty good.
It's going to overcurl a little bit.
He actually called the hit and roll, so it was a downweight hit and roll. Kind of reposition those rocks. Open up the 4-foot a little bit. I didn't quite like this shot as much because Calvin just played this shot to remove a rock in a similar position. I liked making him play a different line, keep a little backing behind you. But this also opens it up for him. He's got a couple freeze options.
Hold on.
Yep.
5-6 or guard?
5-6. 5-6.
Okay, so 3 guards and back 4. Got it.
Hard.
And this hit attempt by Gilad is curling a lot.
Is it gonna jam?
Let's see. I'm not sure.
Oh, he slices
chipped
out
it
the other
out
way.
the other way.
Nice adjustment for the sweep call.
Oh, I was just informed that Calvin had an 8-under. He has not told me that. I don't know if anybody else knew that. I was not aware that he had an 8-under. That's a great experience, a fun club to be in.
Guard so high, it doesn't really matter.
See like this then?
It doesn't curl this way, remember?
John, to answer your question about how many years Eli can play, I think Eli is 14.
You guys think the draw
He
around
just turned 15, so you can play juniors till you're 21. So Enrique hit the nail right on the head with 6 years. It kind of depends on when your birthday falls as to when you get cut off of juniors.
back 12.
An update on sheet C. Appears that Bico leads 5-4 over Ecto.
Yes, line.
Heading into the 7th inning.
Line's good.
Is that?
I said boo.
Yeah, one of the commentators might be slightly
I'm biased. No, I do like Team Bykowski. Multiple members on that team.
Oh, it's
are
5-3. I'm sorry.
teammates of mine in other venues. 5-3.
Like they're
That's
over-
even worse. Damn it.
Over Ecto.
Well, a very nice freeze into the pocket made by Hunter. And
Sitting second, but the
No.
other
Oh,
first
yeah,
shot
it is second shot.
is out there on its own.
I'm like, oh, what shot? No, it's not.
Look, like if we get off the edge and this just rolls out, that's fine. The only thing is we're kind of we can't run like yeah. Yeah. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Yeah. Yes. All right. Yes, right.
Oh, sorry, that shot was actually made by Eli. I said by Hunter because it looked like. I looked down and saw what looked like only one rod left, but it looks like
There's two.
there are two. They were just lined up nicely. So, sorry. Eli did not get credit for that shot from me. I will give it to him now. But it does leave some room for Calvin to come down and remove this stone. And even if he jammed it, it would
Most likely still.
likely
He
still
left out
not be a counter.
Whoa! It's just too far that way.
It's close.
This one's really hanging on that center line. Oh my goodness. Misses the target stone,
But
takes out their own, but it does leave the rock for second shot.
Does appear to so.
So now Hunter's got to make a decision. Does he freeze down, maybe tap it a little bit, make a move on shot stone, roll in front? There's some options here. Craig says, don't I have any journalistic integrity? What, to not play favorites on a game that I'm not even streaming? I'm not playing favorites in the game that I'm watching. There are supporters for both teams here. I can certainly send a shout out. I like I'm sure many people maybe watched the Players Championship this past week, and Kevin Martin, his son, was playing in that event, and while there was no outright cheering, he certainly had an interest, a vested interest in him doing that, and so do I. The good news is that being as though this is a game for 5th place in the league, Melvin's team, whether they win or lose, I'm not sure it really matters. At least in their minds.
What do you see about running this back?
I thought about raising it through that hole.
Then we're not getting rid of our
Well, now we're getting all sorts of history of Calvin from his junior curling days. Convince Asham to sponsor his team. I'm just digressing a lot since there's a lot of discussion happening. But these are untimed games here at the Potomac Curling Club Capital League Finals.
Crazy question. Are we going 8 or are we going 10?
We're going 8.
Okay, good. I would have read the rules more closely if I were involved in any of those ones.
Wow, Calvin actually once went to an invitation-only curling camp put on by Kevin Martin. That's actually not surprising at all. Calvin has some of, I would say, the best-looking curling form. His delivery is impeccable. So it doesn't surprise me at all that he gained early wisdom from Kevin Martin because he really has a very solid curling delivery. I started curling when I was in my 20s, so as much as I would love to have beautiful curling form, I don't quite have that flexibility. But I throw a good shot now and again, but. So it looks like this freeze attempt from Hunter is running heavy and has chipped off the target stone and rolled off. It looks like they are sitting
2 and 4. I think.
Yeah, 2 and 4. It's hard to tell between that red and that yellow, but he's not pleased with that outcome. This leaves an opportunity for Calvin to, remove these stones, freeze one in the pocket, has a lot of options to kind of bring those rocks out of play, which will really put Hunter in a tough spot in this 6th end. The good news is that Hunter's going to be in a good position to score, but the bad news is he's probably going to come out of this end down 2. So coming back is not easy always. It's going to be a tough hill to climb.
Update on sheet D. It's been tied up between Hamilton and Humdrum. It's now 4-4 in the 7th.
Did you say it's 4-4?
It's 4-4.
Wow. They're fighting hard for 9th place.
I don't know what to say.
Good game over there.
Yes.
Freeze
is looking
nice draw coming
like a
down
pretty good shot here.
from Calvin. I wonder if we won't see a double attempt from Hunter. He's comfortably sitting third shot in the back of the house. If he could get rid of those 2 reds.
But they're so even.
They're even, but they're pretty close together, Michael Dobbs.
Yeah, they're about 2 feet apart. So I guess it's there. But the risk is you give up 1.
Well, the thing is taking 1 in this end, you're probably not going to come back and win this game.
Yeah, you got to steal.
Taking 2, you're going to be in a decent position.
But if you give up 1, game over.
Yeah, but taking 1 is kind of game over too. So
Actually, if you give up 1, you're down. You're
down 4.
Oh, you're down 4.
With
Never mind.
2 ends to go.
I think this is a
3
reasonable risk.
It's worth a try.
If there's anybody in this building right now that can throw enough weight to make this shot happen, it's Hunter Clawson.
That is true.
This is a very high weight, high degree of difficulty double. And I'm assuming from the ice that's what he's. Oh, nope, he's dry. Silly me. Or. I think he's playing a bit of a tap. A tap for 1.
Looks good. Tap for 1. Oh boy.
Just enough.
That looks really close again.
Eric was calling Eli off for line, and I think Eli was maybe not emphatic enough. Maybe that's the problem when your dad is your vice. You don't want to stand up to him, but came really close to shorting that shot. Man, I wanted to see him throw that double.
I know.
I mean, the thing is,
It's really
even
hard.
if you hit it thin, and you had some catchers in the bag of the house.
You do.
Well, I'm guessing the determining thing was the way this game has gone, there have been opportunities to steal.
Indeed, and opportunities to score multiple.
I think
so
you're right, Michael.
opportunities
Basically,
lost.
the opportunities have been missed, but at the same time, there's been a lot of guards left in the center, and
It
some
was-
peels have been made,
That
but
rock was on kind of a tough line as well.
It was.
So that may have been. Hey, Kendall, put on the headset and say hi to your curling fans out there. You have a very great weight.
so the shot by Brandon is supposed to be a come around. And the guard that Eric just threw.
I was going to say.
It's in the top 8.
For sure, the team. Joe and the orange shirt and Keith in the hat.
Line's fine. Nope, just over.
I'll keep that in mind.
Another good guard by Eric. Plan for the Clawson team is to make the center as clogged as possible and hopefully be able to steal one. We're down 2. They'll need to accomplish a steal of 1 multiple times. Brandon's second stone's a little heavy. Butler's calling for the tap back of the red stone.
Back 8.
Wants back 8 weight.
Freeze it, that's fine. Please. Whoa, 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 yes. Yes! Whoa! Whoa! Off! Yes! Hard! Hard! Hard, 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 hard. My fault, Dad. Good throw. That's fine.
This looks perfect for Clawson.
They now have 3 on the center line. They've advanced stone to the top of the 8-foot. Calvin's decided to clear the center.
A wise decision.
Very wise decision when you have a 2-point lead with Hammer in the 7th.
I'm just going to say these headphones are made for somebody with a much bigger head than me.
They fit perfectly for me.
Interestingly enough, he did roll the shooter over to be a guard on the shot rock.
What do you like?
I think they may have to come through the hole.
I believe so.
Maybe? It's hard to tell from my angle. I'm not right behind the center line.
I
You're
see
closer
that
than
there's
me.
definitely a hole. They can get through that port. Hunter is calling for a backline wait.
I like it.
It's right on line.
It's a really riding that center line.
It is, but it is starting to curl a little bit. I don't know if it's going to quite curl enough, though. Nope.
Oh, no.
Fortunately, they wrecked their own guard. And that will make the steal much more difficult to accomplish.
Control. Good play there. Yeah. Give me like top 8.
And there's been quite a turnaround on sheet C for the 5th place game. Ecto has taken a 3-ender and now leads 6-5.
Oh, up 1 without the hammer.
Up 1 without the hammer.
I'm looking, are there people in this war room named Ann, Katie, Josh, and Jake? Art Weber says, next time you come to McFarland, the spotted cow is on the Webers. They're saying they love you, Art. They love them some spotted cow, I guess. It's McFarland. So Calvin's from like a stone's throw from the curling club. I did not know that. I have played at the Madison Curling Club many a time. I seem to be a runner-up in some event at the Halloween Spiel every time I go there. Oh, Art says he loves you guys too, so.
Oh.
And you're welcome for broadcasting the match. We have the equipment and we enjoy doing this, so.
Fortunately for the Clawsons, the call was for a freeze, but ended up being hugged or burnt. I cannot quite tell.
Wah, wah.
Yeah, right here. Stop 4. All right.
So I think the call is to bring another one into the house. Sitting 2 already. They've got that somewhat long guard out front. It'd be nice to get a rock in another scoring position. It's coming up a little shy of where they would like it.
I believe the draw is there for the freeze. That's what they're trying to do.
I'm not sure about the freeze, but you can certainly get shot behind that rock they just put in the 12-foot.
Yep.
I kind of like what he's calling now. Okay, he's trying to tap back the rock that they just threw, create a bit of a pocket in the back of the house. I don't hate this call, but might not be what I would call it. It's like the wait for the tap was good. Unfortunately, the line was not, and unfortunately, Eli's rock goes sailing through the house.
A little heavy, maybe not quite as much as they wanted.
Everybody hit it. Scoreboard says hit it. I don't want to lose.
Normal control. Normal control.
So looks like Calvin's going to try to take that freeze away around the outside of that guard. But it looks like Gilad got a little wide on this one. So we'll see how much
A little
movement
wide
they
and a
get
little
back.
light. But it does protect that one.
It does.
Maybe not perfectly, but
I think there's still a port to come around the
I think
outside
you're right.
of that guard. Get in there, and it's tough. It's not easy, but
if you were to come through there, I don't know how you're going to get that out.
I would agree. I mean, they've got some options. They've got
They do.
slash like that, but it's tough. It's tough. Certainly what you want to do is force your opponent to a high degree of difficulty shot. And you know, Weber's team is forcing Clawson to play a high degree of difficulty shot here to try to limit the scoring damage. I mean, I think if we see a score of multiples here, we'll probably see handshakes. This is, it looks like Hunter is calling the same tab. He's really putting his eggs in the basket of his last rock. He's trying to set up a good pocket so that he has something with his last shot to try to steal. He must not think that that port is negotiable, so.
They haven't thrown as many rocks to that side.
Yeah. It's a little bit, it's a little harder to judge, I think, so.
Yep.
Ready? Whoa, whoa, looking for here, line curve, whoa, wait on, whoa. Draw now, draw, whoa.
Oh, it looks like Hunter's rock has caught the same exact path that Eli's rock caught.
Yeah.
Oh, this is unfortunate. Wheels are definitely falling off the bus a little bit here. I think the only shot Hunter is going to have with this last rock here is to try to just play the cold draw around that rock in the top 12. I'm not sure what the call was here for Calvin.
Maybe tap his own stone up that he's been trying to hit.
Yeah, potentially. I like moving that rock that's in the top 12 because that's the only rock that at this point could really get Calvin in trouble. Splitting it off and putting it into the side of the house and putting another one into the wing is a great shot, but I hope he's playing to move that. Oh, that's not the call. He's throwing the other handle. I assume the draw is to the open side. And I've got to say, I disagree with this shot call. You're up by 2 with the hammer. He's never going to fall for a draw to the wing unless you leave it in a position that he could hit and roll behind. Whether you take 4 or 3, there's going to be handshakes. I like moving the only rock that can get you into trouble, which is that rock in the top 12. But, hey, I'm not playing in this game, so what do I know? I guess we'll see. If Hunter makes this shot, then I was right. If he doesn't, then Calvin was right.
Well, the more conservative call is to remove the top 12 stuff.
Not to remove it, just to reposition
Just
it.
move it out of the way.
Yeah.
Yep. All right, guys.
And now you do actually give him something to rub off of if he's a little heavy.
That's correct. I think this weight is much better. They can get behind that
I
stone.
think this one picked. It's going sideways. Oh, that's disappointing. Looks like Weber is sitting 2 with an open hit for 5. I would say, think whether this hit is made for whatever the count. I honestly think the draw is probably the safer shot. If you ever hung this wide and jammed it,
That's exactly what I was thinking.
It's just like I'm pretty sure two
Two or
if,
three is perfectly
if you
fine.
threw this to the boards, you'd probably get handshakes.
I think you would too.
And so, why on earth would you contemplate a shot that could potentially put you in a situation where you're only up one? It's not a hard hit. I mean, the rock is open, but this is a very funny line. It seems to sort of swing variably, and just think it's.
Me personally, as a skip, I'm throwing with the scoreboard.
Yeah.
I am always throwing a draw here.
On any other ice, I would throw this open hit any day of the week. I'll say this. People are probably like, oh my gosh, she's crazy. Throw the hit.
You throw this down in Richmond and Charlottesville?
Huh? Charlottesville.
On better ice. On better ice, you would throw the hit.
Oh, and yeah, no, our ice is it's just been a little bit unpredictable on some lines, and this is on the swingy side. Looks like he's playing it at down weight, maybe, or is he?
He's going for the tap back.
Oh, he's just playing a tap for 3. It's a pretty safe shot. I like it. He doesn't have to move that red rock very far.
Looks like it's going through the port.
You might actually get the split for. Oh, he went right through the
Great
hole.
draw for 3. That works
Wow,
too.
good for him.
Good job.
Nice shot. I suspect. Oh, and there's handshakes.
And there are the handshakes.
Oh my God, Jimmy Fallon. Oh, buddy. I like hanging out with Nick here, but I have to say, Jimmy Fallon is one of my favorite curling commentary partners of all times. Jimmy Fallon, for those of you who are tuned into this broadcast, is serving our country in Afghanistan. So the fact that he's tuned in for this is a real treat. He's coming back to the United States in a couple months, and for those of us who know him well, we are so excited. So it looks like we're switching over to watch the dramatic conclusion of
The 5th place game.
the 5th place game, or as I like to call it, the Little Sisters of the Poor event final. This is a congratulations to Team Weber for capping off the season with a league win here. I believe, did Calvin win last year? I think he did. As friends are nodding, he did win last year as well. So a repeat with some different teammates this year, but a good job. He came to our club and sort of took us by storm. A nice freeze was made on our new feature sheet by
Joe Rockenbach.
Joe. We're in 4th rocks here, so by Joe Rockenbach. You don't have to point to his name. I know who he is. I just wasn't sure what rocks we were on. Thank you, Michael Dubbs. And it did move the rock a little bit behind it, so there is some room to remove this stone. Dave Bykowski looking to play a run back on this rock in the top 8, top 12 area. Try to pick that rock off the button. Give himself a chance to take at least one. Needs one to tie the game in this 8th end. So.
Several different shots available.
Thanks, Art. I will give your congratulations to Calvin when he comes off the ice. Your dad was all over the chat box. He was telling us all about your escapades.
All right, looks like Byko is going for the run back double. He's determined this is the easiest way to pick it out, pick
I
the
think this is
shot stone
actually
out.
technically just a double. Giving you a hard time, Nick.
That's all right. One more stone remains for Ecto, and one more stone remains for Vico.
Well, an interesting situation here because Vico has left himself with a rock that now he can use to run. It's not at a great angle, though. I think he can move that red if he just nosed straight onto the nose of that red. I think he can move it enough that the yellow rock will remain shot. It would just be to tie the game, though. So I think what Ecto is doing here is trying to guard up the pick, which right now, if they leave this red rock open and he played directly onto it, he could pick it out of the house or potentially run it back onto that yellow and get rid of both of those reds.
It's possible.
For 2 to win the game. So what they want to do here is get themselves into a position where he can't make that shot. So it looks like the call is the freeze. I think the air side here is the guard, because even if the guard, even if the freeze is not made, just a guard is in play and he has to play the run, it would only be for 1.
Yes! Where? Whoa! Whoa! Where?
Okay, it looks like this one's hanging out a little bit.
It's finishing pretty
It's
nicely,
curling,
actually.
though. This line's going to be pretty good.
Good spot. Hard, boys, hard! I like it. Hard!
Melvin does indeed like it.
He does.
It's a good shot.
It's not a bad shot.
I think I only see the tap up for 1 at best, almost.
Or the dead draw, almost.
Yeah,
Depends on how much it curls.
That's dicey. It does finish pretty well. At least last stone did.
Yeah. Yeah, I like, it was a good call by Melvin when he realized that wasn't going to make the freeze. He didn't have them try to bring that rock deeper for the
He kept
freeze.
it online.
Because had he brought it deeper, it wouldn't have been guarding the shot stone. So I think he did a good job calling that last rock from Joe, and now it leaves a very tough shot. I think if I'm Dave Bykowski, I'm trying to play that tap for the 1 just to take it to an extra end.
So, again, back to reality.
So you have, I mean, the thing is, you get this in. I don't know, you get this one, hit thin.
Still talking about this. A lot of talk.
Full 12, fine.
Well, it is for the 5th place.
There's a
championship.
trophy for 5th place.
That's what I'm indicating.
A very regal trophy with the Washington Monument on it.
I hope this rolls across the top or jam it straight.
Line's good, yeah.
It's almost, you put the screw in.
Okay, go hard, go hard.
That's almost where you hit that last time.
As hard as you can go, guys. As hard as you can go. Go, 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 go. Okay, I'm back. This one, that's fine. It's still gonna curl. Still does something. That was pro side base.
From the configuration on sheet D, we can see that the ice is slowed down over there as well, as they have 9 guards in play.
It's not that they were just light. The ice must have slowed down.
Or it took them by surprise for some reason. Another way to state it.
Still talking on our sheet here. Thank goodness this is not timed. You want to say hi to your fans? Really? Somebody whose name was Team Israel was 2 names. Yes, Simon, your dad was. I was referring to you guys as 40% of Team Israel. Yes, I know that. It's a 5-person team. Thanks, Eli. Thank God somebody's in high school and can still do math. We lost a lot of viewership after we switched games. I'm surprised we still have 14 people holding out for the longest decision in the history of curling. What? Yeah. What did he even decide on? This is so much ice.
It's a lot of ice. I'm not sure what this is for. One would assume it's the tap
he's just
up.
trying to tap up that rock.
I guess it curls a lot, but we haven't paid as close
It
attention
does
to this
curl
game.
a lot.
So.
Oh, wait, I thought that was the flatter side. I thought that was the flatter side out there, but what do I know? I'm going on the record. I don't think it's going to curl that much.
I am in the same boat as you, but we shall see.
We'll see. Maybe he's just going to be really narrow and prove me wrong. Yep, he was narrow.
Looks narrow.
Might be the right broom for that he took.
It's overcurled.
Nope, it didn't overcurl. And a come from behind victory, Team Acto 1.
That's curling.
Miraculous 5th place finish.
And Hamilton is now sitting 2.
Craig, the who can't do math comment was all the people that were completely confused when I said that Gabe and Gilad were 40% of the Israeli curling team. Nobody could figure that out. There's 5 people on the team. And they're 2. Spoiler alert. So we're going to tune in to
the 9th place game.
the 9th place game. And it looks like Hamilton is
sitting 2 behind a wall of guards.
sitting 2 behind 1,000,000 guards and actually drawing for a 3rd counter at this point.
On his first
It's in the
skip
back,
stone.
It's in the back of the house. Jonah Urich. Yearich. That's his last name. It only took me 2 hours and 25 minutes to remember Jonah's last name. What was that? Melvin Shaw just came off the ice, said that is the, what did he say?
I didn't hear
The
him.
hardest I've ever worked for 5th place.
was well
It
earned.
may also be the first time in your life that you got a trophy for being in 5th place, but for the record, one shot came in 3rd place and one came in 5th. Oh no! Oh no!
That does block the draw.
Oh, does it?
I don't think it does.
And it's not even 3rd shot.
It
No.
really whipped off the pile.
This was a bit of a poor line call by Jonah. Maybe if I had remembered his name at the beginning of the game, he wouldn't have failed me at the end of the game.
It certainly doesn't block the whole draw, but
No.
Certainly not the Wiccan roll.
It complicates things.
Oh, yeah.
Not the least of which for Travis on his last rock. If Ann doesn't make this, oh.
Todd's talking about a triple hit up here. That's interesting.
Well, I think Todd's thinking if they hit it thin, could they maybe chap a couple of them in there? And my answer is no.
I don't see it, but
I think
I
you
am at
gotta,
an odd angle here.
I think you got to play that draw. Even if you plug that up, he's gonna have a tough shot. Yeah, exactly.
If you get partially behind
There's
your
a
own guards,
wall of
they're not going to be able to get it out
guards
without jamming on those other yellows.
Surprisingly enough, there's no guards on from our view, the left side of the house.
Yeah.
Yep.
You
Well,
know,
from
there's
our
a-
view, the right,
There's
I
a
guess.
fighter.
From whose view? The left side?
From the webcast
From
view,
the webcast
left side of the
view,
house.
it would be the left side of the house, but yes.
I think Ann's just worried about throwing that same line where they don't know what
Maybe,
they don't know what it's going
and
to do.
I think she's maybe afraid if she hangs out there a little bit.
Maybe
could
she
tap
promotes.
them in. That could be a tragedy. Hate to give up the game with
With a hanger.
Anne indicates that her goal is to have the perfect draw through the port. That sounds like a good goal. Let's see if she can make that one play out. Did they say T plus?
Yes, they did.
Well, it looked heavy.
Bravo.
It's wide.
Are they going to
no.
promote?
Oh, no.
They're trying to maybe tap it.
They got it.
A great call by Todd.
Wow.
Travis looked very despondent with the outcome of that shot.
Just devastated.
That
I mean, I'm going to say this. I see the in-off for the
three.
win.
Yep. He sees it.
He's indicating Jonah is indicating the in-off. Travis is eyeing it up. I mean, you certainly can't draw there.
No. That's your only shot. They're down 2.
And the only other shot I see is potentially a run back on the yellow guard, but from my
No,
angle,
I think
can't
it's.
tell if it's
I think the other
there.
2 red
Do the
stones
red
are in the
guards
way.
Occlude that. I will definitely give a shout out to Todd Humora for calling that. That was a good audible.
Wow, that was the plan all the way, right?
The perfect draw, otherwise known as the
The
wicket.
in off. The wick off, yes.
Play the in off, Travis.
He knows it's there.
Play the in-off.
He doesn't want to
have
throw it.
any other shot. I'm not sure.
And this is a very difficult shot because once you get to the last foot of sheet D, it's very unpredictable as to what
pretty
it's going to do.
steep too. You gotta
Yeah.
hit it. It's like maybe half a rock.
Maybe a third. It's going to be pretty steep.
I think he's trying to line up the angled raise takeout now.
No way.
Not the in-off, the angled raise takeout.
I don't actually think you can hit that rock thin enough. You probably can, but. To who? Liz
Oh.
Andrew? Oh, a shout out to Liz Andrew, who's homesick today. I can do that. Is she watching? Is she supposed to be? I haven't seen her in the comment box. Melvin is asking about our viewership, which at the peak was like 26 viewers.
Yeah, we had 26.
But after the feature sheet was over,
We dropped the 14 immediately.
14 immediately. Now we're down to 10.
Hey, we went back up to 11.
So Brandon must have logged on in the warm room. He
I
was
think that's a
talking
very
about-
good guess as to who the 11th one is.
Don't underestimate the drawing power of a cheesehead curler who has people at home who actually can follow curling. Oh my God, what is he doing?
I think there's stones out of play if you hit that one correctly. So.
No,
Well, no.
yeah, you can't. You touched the sideline.
The yellow one, absolutely, but I think he was looking at the double with
Use
the red. Use the red to take out the red and have your first red roll out.
Oh man, such a shame.
You can see who was right.
I love Travis. He's been just a pleasure to have here at the club this year. He always has a smile on his face. He's a real good sportsman.
We squirt right here. We go right across the face of it. We don't touch the stone. Even if we do, we hit here and we go right to the back.
So Travis is indicating, and this is a very legit concern, is this is so thin that it would be very hard to actually hit the side of the rock to push it out of play. And that he's afraid he's gonna hit the top of the rock and just jam it back into his rock. It's a very realistic concern.
I think the in-off would result in that as well.
He's lining up the angled raise.
You can hit it thin enough.
This is hard.
Nothing is easy. It was a
Even
expertly called Plan B shot by Andrumi to put Travis in a bit of a pickle here. So.
And fortunately, if he makes it, it's being recorded.
Yeah.
He can come back and watch it again.
We can
and
put
again,
him on the highlight
and again.
reel with Mike McEwen and Brad Gushu.
I don't think U.S. Sports Center does curling.
Well, we can make him internet famous. There was some discussion as to whether or not he was actually slashing that rock in instead of playing the in-off. We're not sure which he decided on.
It looks like the angle raise.
It might
but-
hit the wall first. Or Rich Gray might hit the wall first.
Oh!
Swing and a miss.
Travis, you want to try it again?
Yeah, try the other one, Travis. Try the other one.
Oh, and in the good sportsmanship of Potomac Curling, we are allowing Travis to try the other shot. He missed one. I mean, I guess when you're in a heated battle for ninth place, anything goes.
Anything goes in the heated battle for ninth.
Oh, he's not even lining up the in-off. He's lining up the double.
No, I think the double was the other shot.
Yeah, that's the other
Yep.
shot.
The good news is this could also make the highlight reel, even though it didn't really count. Is he going to flash both of them?
Ah!
Oh my God. Those are two of the worst shots ever recorded in curling.
That's okay.
Oh.
He's still smiling.
It's solidified. Team Humdrum,
Humdrum.
is the winner of the 9th place event.
He's taking it down.
Okay, we're peacing out, kids. Katie Kovac, good night, and good night to everybody else.
Good night out there in the curling world.
Good night and good luck and good curling.
Good night, good luck, good curling, and on curling now in the future at some point in time.
Absolutely. Good night, folks.